Hello, hello.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon.
It is indeed. The sun is shining after a couple of days of nasty, gnarly weather.
We're supposed to be getting a little bit of rain today, but it's warmer than normal, but it's going to get cold overnight.
It has been so spectacular. I don't know what I'm complaining about. Oh, goodness, 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 goodness. Well, look what the cat drug in here today, Richard Morden.
Good morning.
How the heck are you?
I am very well, very well. So
Good deal.
thank
Good
you.
deal.
You guys
So,
all look older. What happened?
hey, what are you talking about?
Have
We're
you
like
looked in the
fine,
mirror?
we're like fine wine, just getting better with time. So, where are you at right now, Richard?
We were on the East Coast at a couple spots, and we moved back into the mountains in a place called Morelia, which is a big city west of Mexico City. So it's a second time here. And I'm renting the same house we had before, so we're maybe here for the next 6, 8, 9 months. We don't know. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sure that makes it nice where you don't have to worry about, where your next destination is for a little bit, so you can enjoy that. So, share with us while we're waiting on folks to get in here. What has been y'all's experience? What have you liked? What have you hated? Vagabonds. How
Well,
cool is that?
since we went traveling April of 2020, and the biggest thing, Nancy, we made a point of not settling down and letting go of everything we knew, everything we had. We did not want to recreate, and that's the common feature for most people. Bless their hearts. And it has worked because all the attraction when we started moving and looking at subdivision, because I lived in one for almost 30 years. Oh, that looks nice. To the point where we let everything go that we thought we needed, and everything we own we carry with us in 2 suitcases and a backpack. And we've never been happier, never. In the sense that the moment we unpack and walk into a house unpacked, we're home, and home it's an inside job. And we see so many people where we were in Ajijic on Lake Chapala. It's the largest expat. Beautiful people, but they come down there with their stuff and their attitude, and we get prejudice against old white people because they bitch and moan and want the people to speak like them, and we're guests here. Like, learn the language, and feel when you try to work with these people, they're incredible. I mean, and they understand the key word is everything here is relationship, how they engage with their family, how the children are engaged, how they're nurtured, how they're taken care of, and things are normal. Like, a woman's, standing in line of breastfeeding her child. It's normal, and so it's just second time back in the city. And this is one of a big cultural city. We love the vibrancy of the city. We've been on both coasts, and the oceans are beautiful, but we're not into shiny. We're into people. So we love the big markets. I mean, even the big crush in the market where there's thousands of people at these big markets, and I'm right at home in it. Like, I'm just in it, there's traffic. So you look at it and think, oh my God, this is chaos. But that's the energy of what we enjoy.
So, what about, the crime or any of that stuff? Have you guys had any issues?
No,
Pickpockets or?
no, we have not. And I've met people here, and many older single women have been here for years in other countries. Common sense is where you go. But I mean, everybody's, there might be somebody trying to pick their purse, but that's, you keep your wallets closed, keep your stuff zipped up. Common sense. You're in markets, the stuff happens. So it's not a Mexico thing. It's a life thing. The media loves to portray a lot of excessiveness and crime, and it's, I think Canada and the US is in worse shape than Mexico for all that's going on. So
Wow.
We love it. We love the culture, the people, the food. I mean, obviously the weather, it's been so consistent, but the people, when you say good morning to people, everybody says good morning back to you. Everybody.
I think one of the main things you pointed out is you create the relationships with the locals. You don't, that's the thing with crime. you don't look like a tourist. You don't look,
No.
you don't have gringo tattooed across your forehead. I mean, it's just,
We dress down. Angela looks like a Mexican. You know, she's got a little bit of tan. We dress, you know, we can very casually. We don't walk around flashing anything. You know, we don't try and stand out at all. So and you know, and again, when you get to know them, they look after you. Like one guy said, and he'd been in the States for many years. In North America, you might know 2 or 3 of your neighbors fairly well. In Mexico, when you get established in a group, everybody within 2 blocks will know you, and you'll know all of them. And they look out for each other.
Wow.
And, I saw that in Cuba years ago. I saw how they greeted people, how they connect. And here it's the same. You'll see a group of men sitting around, and I mean, they can drink outside the beer stores. It might be 10 or 12 and sitting around having their trucks, having a beer for a couple hours, laughing and joking. Nobody's drunk. You know, they're engaging. And I really watch like kids in the big squares and churches. They're sitting with their legs over each other talking. They're not on their phones. You know, the men and the grandparents holding the children, like the children are so honored, but the children, I mean, from little age, are so awake. Like I've seen them get out of the car and open a door for their mother. They guide their grandmother to the washroom. You know, they look out for each other. So culturally, it's been amazing to watch. And when you connect with them, they look out for you. We've got a great landlord. You know, when the vendors, like there's 4 vendors within 3 or 4 minutes of us. When you go there, they know you. They know what you're looking for. They'll help you pick your food out and make sure you get good quality service, and very responsive.
Love that. Love that. I remember when we was in Germany, the first thing that caught my eye was the teenagers playing in the parks. You know, back in the United States, if you saw a teenager in a park after dark, you would think they could possibly be up to no good. That's the first thought that you get. Why are those kids down here? What are they up to? You know, and all of that. And they wasn't, you know, they were just out there enjoying themselves and not getting into any trouble or anything like that, you know. And I just remember thinking, wow, you know, we need some of that here in the United States.
They love music. They love to sing. And this city is a big music cultural center. So it's got one of the oldest universities, and street musicians are marvelous, you know, and that freedom event is here in January. So it's, you know, it's that's one of the centers. So it's just, again, it's the engagement. But, you know, we were in Cosmo, we're in Playa del Carmen, all nice and shiny, but it's not us now. We love basic Mexico, and it's with its sometimes broken streets and broken sidewalks, but it's real. You know, but the vendors, there's thousands of vendors open your stores, and you walk by and you say buenos dias or buenos tardes, and they all greet you. And
Entrepreneurship at its finest, at its very simplest, deepest root, right there.
Yeah. Getting my hair cut, the guy stops, he goes to talk, somebody comes back, cuts my hair, somebody else comes in, you know, there's money exchange, maybe got something for him, but it's like, I'm just listening to the engagement. I'm not worried about getting a haircut. I'm watching these people engage, and everything is conversation. So, yeah.
Well, one of the things that I think I would have trouble with is I always like to get, I don't want to say trinkets, but mementos and, you know, that kind of stuff. I see, you know, you are creating memories inside your head and inside your heart, and, you know, you'll have photographs and all of that. But you know, it would be hard for me to not want to take a piece of everything wherever I'd been. You know what I'm saying?
There's lots of that. You could fill your pockets here.
I know that would be a hard thing.
You just dedicate one suitcase to that.
Yeah.
extra big wheels. It's got a 6-track underneath.
We get little snow globes everywhere we go.
Yeah. Well,
I know I had a friend, they wanted shot glasses from the different areas. So
yeah. If you don't,
we used to laugh when we've been in Mexico. I mean, with a, you know, having an Italian background and knowing the language, you know, my pronunciation is not bad when it comes to, you know, Spanish. So when we'd go somewhere and, you know, the Buenos Dias or whatever, they start talking to me in Spanish. I kind of look over at my wife
like,
I know Buenos Dias. I know a couple of words and gracias, but
Yeah.
Ah.
That's the extent of what I know. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you pull out that telephone now with the app now.
yeah.
Trust me, that works a lot.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So on your phones and electronics and all that, share with us how that I guess you got the local phone service and all that now, or how does that work?
Yeah, we have I have two phones. So we bought a phone. I guess you can't see my Zoom, but I bought a Telcel phone called Hawaii phone. So the phone cost me about $300. My phone plan cost me $18 a month. You know,
We pay what,
for everything.
$18 a day here?
Yeah, I know. So I mean, so I still have my other phone, but not a service plan on it now. It just has WhatsApp and my other app, so just Wi-Fi. But I buy, you know, so they're again, when you look at their services, how affordable. It's not just here, I mean everywhere. North America pays the most ridiculous prices for internet and TV and stuff like that. And you know, there's and Wi-Fi is everywhere. People are like in India were saying they're getting like a gigabyte a month, 2 or 3 gigabyte a month for like $10.
Wow.
So, and that's all over, right? So we're kind of condensed, and especially I said that, you know, the fear porn is extensive for places like Mexico, and it's, you know what, common sense. You're not out in all these back streets late at night. We're not drinkers, so we're usually home by 6 o'clock. We're coffee hounds. That's where we go out for coffee. And so again, common sense where you go, what streets you're on. But I've walked many places in the city, and I've never had a slightest issue yet.
Anybody else have any questions for Richard? Love this. Go ahead, Marcia.
So Richard, I'm a fellow Canadian, as you know. Do you have any desire to ever come back to Canada, or you're going to be there? That's it.
No, I don't actually, Marcia, because my kids travel. Actually, my son lives in Mexico, so he teaches English, so he leaves every 6 months and exits and comes back. We are in the residency program here, so we renew our residency in May, and it goes for 3 years, and we just renew it again to be a resident. They have different terms, and we are looking at other countries as well. But I absolutely have no desire whatsoever to go back to Canada. This for many reasons, but you know, I don't miss the snow. Up until these last few weeks, I wore my dress code I'd written down years ago, shorts and a t-shirt every day for a year. And I just love the warm weather and the nice that, you know, right now this is cool. It gets down around 11 or 12 Celsius and warms up, you know, by, you know, the 16, 18, 19 in the daytime. And summer times is hotter, but I don't miss the cold. And just the whole social environment, the political environment, it's so easy down here for us to feel at home. And I felt at home since the moment we landed here.
So now it's one of my main, I guess, teammate person on my team, or Be Connected. She was born in French Canada and taught in San Francisco and a couple other places in the US for a while. And she moved, I don't know what she's been in, where she's at in central Mexico now since 2001. And she loves it.
Yeah.
The downside is her internet connection is not all that great, but she just loves it there. So, and she talks about, you know, like you mentioned, a bunch of expats, and that was just interesting to me that I've been hearing that phrase more for, you know.
What's common, I'm sure it's not just here, but so many people come down here against everybody else's wishes. And years ago, oh, it's this is terrible. And yet they get here, and what happens within 24 hours, they said, this is home. Like they just, you know, they realize what they're being told and what they saw. It's not the truth. So again, the connectivity, and I'm sure this happened many places around the world. You know, you talk about how long you're here, 18 years, 17 years, 16 years, 21 years. So, you know, and for us, like I said, we are looking at Uruguay and Ecuador as well for our residency, just because we can.
Well, tell us a little bit about the expat communities. This is one thing that I've, you know, been hearing a lot about now, that there's quite a few people that's doing this. They've blazed the trail, so to speak. And I know they've got these communities all over the place that can help support folks, get you set up and all of that. What's been your experience with that?
Well, the big one here is Ahihik, which is on Lake Chapala, which is an expat. So lots of English. And I mean, if you're coming down new, it's a good place to start. And a lot of people do. They come there, they get connected, they find the resources because there's, you know, communications in English. The restaurants and service people speak English most of them quite well. So it gives you a bit of a base to work from. And again, the Facebook groups, the Telegram groups are good. So you start to look at there for your resources. And then from there, what other cities are there where people have gone to? And there's some other expat communities around that are, some are a little higher end and stuff like that that you can go to, or you can go into, like I said, this is pretty well a Mexican community. And we love it because it forces us to learn Spanish. We were learning it and we got a little bit backwards. But there's other places like that. Ahihik is AJIJIC is a name, is probably the main one. And so, and people want to come, people want to come in and establish. We're butterflies, and like the ones we connect with are like us. We're just travelers. We float around because we choose to. And again, in real terms, we're kind of being guided where we go. You know, we were actually in Playa de Carmen and saw that thing in Acapulco and thought, within 2 hours, we decided to book ourselves back here into the mountains, and everything set up for us just because the weather's a bit crazy, take it what you will. And this place has a really good food supply. And Mexico and Uruguay and Ecuador also have good food supplies too. So you look at those part of your community as well. Again, just English is a good place to start with. And then from there, they'll all have connections, butterfly connections out into the other networks where you want to go.
Well, tell us about your housing and how you find that, and maybe some, you know, pros and cons.
Airbnb for one. And again, people are just giving advice to Lily from Toronto because you can go down and rent an Airbnb for a month. And then from there, you can source it out. And they will try and tell you that you have to rent for, you know, you can't rent for 6 months. They'll try and, especially you know, it's illegal and it's all BS, right? So that you need to lease for at least a year. There is monthly rentals here. So, and they're becoming more available. So Airbnbs are a resource. When we get here, this house, we were in an Airbnb, and then this is where the lady looked after us. We were looking at her house. So this is her ex-husband's house. They put us in touch with us, and we got this house is like 2-story, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,000 square feet. So right now we're paying 17,000 pesos a month for this house, all included. So that's around $1,000 a month. We the other house we had in Ahihik, we were just invited to an outdoor gathering, and this is good fortune. But our friends introduced us, said these couple are here from Canada, looking for a house. The lady stood up beside us, and I'm looking for renters. Well, it turns out she's from Victoria on Vancouver Island. We rented her house for, it was 22,000 pesos a month. It was like 3,500 square feet on one level. It was ginormous. Like, and most people are paying close to that for a little, you know, like, so Providence has been with us in the sense of our ability to manifest, you know, and we don't take that for granted, you know. So the house is like 45 paces from one end to the other. People come in and they're looking around. So we were there for 8 months. But again, you start off like, I recommend this lady go to Progreso, which is on Yucatan. It's a beautiful coastal town where the cruise ships come in. I said, get your first month in. And the big thing is there's lots of rentals available because people are not coming down. People are sick, you know, finances, everything else. So usually the peak season, these are filling up. They're not filling up this year. There is space available. But Airbnb has been, you know, recommendations, always go with a 5-star. Take the first month, try and work off Airbnb after that. Say, will you rent, you know, privately? Most of them will for less money, and or they'll recommend, especially here because it's all connections and again relationships. They'll know somebody else's renter. You know, if you're good with them, they'll be good with you.
You should write a book,
Yes.
a guide, like an expat's guide to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could, yeah. Chat GPT
Yes.
is my friend, but there is a good expat newsletter. The guy is a Canadian. I can send it to you guys too. He's been down and Panama. He does a lot of traveling for that too, and resources for that for sure. But yeah, it's just common sense. But don't panic. You know, when you're looking, you can find a place to rent. And you know, again, Angela's really good at resourcing the area. What's around there? What's the comments on Facebook? What's the comments on Telegram? You know, what's the area like? So sure, there is sketchy areas, but most 5-star Airbnbs are not going to be in sketchy areas.
Well, let's talk about the money. How's your banking situation? How are you changing your money over and all of that?
So we right now we're still using Canadian banks, but we have become residents here, or residency. So we can't open up a bank account here, but we just haven't done that yet. So we just go to the cash machine. We take out the cash. Now we ask for conversion if it allows it at the Canadian end. So it's converted at our bank and, you know, our CIBC in Canada. If they convert it here, it's a little more money, but still for, you know, when I get 5 or 6,000 pesos, that's about $400 Canadian or something like that, depending on the value of the currency. You know, so we usually take out 5,000 at a time. So again, there's bank machines all over. It just depends what the exchange rate. The one machine was 46 pesos, some are like 145, depending. So which one gives you your lowest currency, or, you know, exchange or pricing at that point. And you'll ask around which is the cheaper. In Ajijic, there's called the Lake Chapala Society, which is a English-speaking society library. It's the largest English library in South America. So it's a good connection as well to go there. A lot of the expats connect there for resources because it's been established for 20 years. And that's a good connector as well. What we do find, and take it with a grain of salt, there's a lot of strong democratic mindsets here in the expat community. So they want to play politics, and we go, we're from Canada, we're not part of this, guys. Like, love you all. You know, we got our own problems. Like, let's just keep that out of the picture. You know, and just talk about something else entirely. But the banking's been, again, the people who have come here and have taken their money invested to get a much higher interest rate at the Mexican banks. So that's something we're considering as well. We just haven't done that yet.
Well, that was going to be my next topic. What are you seeing as far as, he didn't know this was going to be an interview drill, but when as soon as he told me he was coming, I was like, man, I am ready to fire it off. Okay, what are you seeing as far as entrepreneurial endeavors? What are some potential investment opportunities that we might be, you know, considering, maybe through you or whatever? What's it look like? What's the landscape looking like?
I don't know if they're investments, but there is in Ajijic, there's I don't know if you're familiar with the medical system called New Terrain Theory. And it's the Biggleson brothers. One of the brothers is starting a school here for that. It's basically taking health right from ground roots up, because looking at what I call a traditional health system has not been probably for our highest good, if you want to say that. So they're looking at this in the most natural way to develop health. And I haven't seen investments, but I'm aware of the outlook on it, that if we go right to ground roots of reframing our whole health and how the human body works and what it needs for its acceptance, that's where probably the investments here. And if there's something showing up in little gadgets, agriculture, again, little things like that. And the the government of Mexico is actually going to support apparently the school that this Adam Biggleson is going to develop for teaching students this new way of looking at health and how to be, I don't want to call it medical, but it goes beyond the nutritional, like the natural path aspects of it. So I could send you a couple of videos on the guys, but they're really looking at health in a new way, in sense of coming out of this whole framework of, you know, poking people from babies and all the food items and how the body works like that. So I'll have to talk with more of those people of what's coming out of that for investments, but I don't have anything on the tip of my tongue right now other than seeing the framework of that.
On as far as the food supply, are you seeing more natural, foods, not
Huge.
like what we have here, where everybody's eating out of a box and all of that junk? What are you seeing as far as that? And then how is that? I got that Blue Zone book series, reading where he traveled all over the world and saw, the longevity and all of that. So I'm kind of curious what you're seeing there.
Well, it's ironic because the food here has been tremendous. Like I've never eaten so much avocado in my life. You go to the market, you see fresh vegetables, fresh meats. But I mean, we're so used to the pristine behind glass here in North America, right? And everything's gloves. These guys are cutting meat with their bare hands. We go to the butcher, he's slicing up with his hands, he's wrapped in plastic, puts it, it's wrapped up to get to you. But the butcher shops at the big markets, the meat's just in trays there, and they just grab it and cut it up, throw it in a bag. One guy watches trays of food and he's working on his phone, so you need to get over yourself as far as our so-called pristine and health. I'm down to about 210 pounds. I haven't been this light since I was 20 years old. Just from quality foods. We eat twice a day. We, so-called farm fresh eggs, bacon, avocado, and potatoes every morning, and we'll have chicken or something else. I go eat tacos.
Well, you're probably walking. You're probably walking a lot.
Walk.
You're not
We walk
vehicle.
miles. We walk miles a day. I mean, I don't know if you can see. I buy health products. These were for circulation. Like for a month, this cost me 100 pesos. So that's about $6.50. I bought a face cream for the wrinkles in my eyes so I could cream, 100 pesos. I bought stuff for removing moles, 120 pesos. Stuff for relieving back pain, and it's all natural products. When Angela had a bug bite, normally in North America, bug bite has all these chemicals in it, and here it had essential oils and some flower remedies. So when you're looking at their products, it's all literally homeopathic remedies or natural products from here. Mushrooms from down South America. I just got some herbal coffee. Again, so it doesn't have the same chemical, imprint that North American foods have. The funny thing is as healthy as it is, here, I'm going to put it this way. They had that earthquake many years ago in the water supply. So he said the water's contaminated. And that's when the big bottled water came in, Nestle's, right? So their shelves are filled with soda pop. This is the highest consuming nation of Coca-Cola on a planet. So they have a hugely high sugar intake. And I OD on sugar many years ago, so I really had to back off. I was so close to being diabetic, it wasn't going to kill me. So luckily for that, I have to say no to 99.9% of it because I'd be in it like a dirty shirt. So they have this dichotomy of this great food, great health, but then they have the rows of packaged goods, packaged food, huge bottles of Coca-Cola, like 3 liters. But for us, we're choosing to eat natural foods, like farm fresh beef. I don't believe it has all the chemicals on it. And eggs, chicken, roast chicken places are here all over the place. So the food quality, I think, for us has been hugely beneficial. Angela has food allergies, flax and wheat, and they've been able to accommodate that. So she doesn't eat out as much as I do, and which isn't much. I mean, I might eat tacos once every couple of weeks, or go to a local vendor. The vendors are set up in street side. But if you're choosing health, the food quality is greater. The health store she went in has all natural teas, herbs, all kinds of things that we can't normally get. Some of the items like that, again, it's all pretty well chemical free.
Do you find, since you're in a bustling city with these humongous markets, do you find that there's a lot of folks that are growing their own food on their land, or is this more of everybody just goes to the market every day and gets what they need for that day?
I suspect a lot of people go to the market because there's so many places that food's grown here. Like if you find some real back streets, you'll find the covered greenhouses. you know, like, and you'll find, so there might be a whole lot where somebody's got the greenhouse and they're growing food in the city. You know, so it's, and it's, yes, there's out in the surrounding community as well, but a lot of times it's grown locally in these unconventional areas where the buildings haven't been put up, because everything's behind walls. And you might see, you look up, if you might see the bit of the greenhouse over top. So it's, I think a lot of it is local as far as within city, you know, within 5-mile radius around the city as well.
So are you close to the water in your new location there where you are?
No, we're, like I said, we're pretty well in the mountains. We're at 6,500 feet elevation. So there's probably a couple lakes around here. I'm not sure where they are, but like I said, Ahihi, which is on Lake Chicala, is a very large water basin there with, you know, and you can see the greenhouses across the lake, huge strawberries, things like that. So
I was
again,
just curious
such
about fish and, you know, bringing in stuff, you
there's
know.
lots of it here. Lots of the crayfish, or not great. Those, what's
Oysters?
fish? Oh, sorry?
Are you talking about oysters? Is that what you were?
Oysters, no, not oysters, but the other fish that people buy. I can see it, but yeah, there's lots of aqua products sold here as far as aquatics, fish and all kinds. So, you know, they have a very good supply chains for these cities as well. And again,
Well,
the prices are.
You was talking about those greenhouses, and that brought up something. Are they using aquaponics or to, you know, like their fertilizer, their watering? What are you seeing there? Is it just natural rainfall?
What I've seen so far is natural and just local water. And because the climate is so warm here, when like everything grows like accelerated rate. And a lot of what we saw at home, and Angela recognized, house plants at home in North America, like little house plant like that, they're trees here. I'm not talking just a little tree. They're 4-foot diameter trees. So everything here is gigantuan. And again, if you have growing anything in the yard, you know, you're right, there are people growing stuff in the yards as well. And if you had a 10 by 10 little square, 10 by 15, you can grow an enormous amount of food for yourself in one of those little squares, with pots and little hanging baskets and elevated, tiered up terraces. So I know a lot of the expats, I know of them. I've only seen a few that grow like that as well. You know, one lady, she grew just in the last 6 months, grew a bunch of grapefruits like that. Another couple, I remember now too, they'd bought a big double lot and they had stripped it clean out of the garbage, and they were growing all kinds of food, like be way beyond what they can use themselves, like avocados and a whole bunch of banana trees. So there's a lot of this as well. You're right, as I think of it, that you don't even know it's there.
Wow.
Behind walls.
What about I know you said you're in the mountains. What kind of wildlife are you seeing around?
Not so much here. Cockroaches are most common. There was scorpions where we were. So, you know, they were somewhat poisonous, but, you know, cockroaches are the big thing.
We have that in Florida. We call them palmetto bugs. They look like these huge roaches, and they fly, and boy, it freaks people out, you know, but they're in our tropical plants.
Carry off small kids and
children.
animals,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I have to tell my grandson when he comes, you're not good. This is what's going to happen to you. I'm going to let him carry you off. Go ahead, Marcia.
Richard, so I mentioned I have Canadian friends there. 2 of them have reported, and they live in different parts of Mexico. I think one lives near Puerto Vallarta, and one lives in the mountains. But both have reported that they see snakes everywhere, all the time, like in their backyard. They even had one come up through the toilet. They'll see them on the sidewalks. And one even had one, she has a private home she just had built. She found a snake in her swimming pool. Like, do you see that as an issue?
I've not seen one yet. I've seen like marmots, and I've seen lizards. Like there's geckos. There'd be geckos in your house, and they're pretty noisy. And I've seen lizards now. When we were in Buceria, on the west coast, I mean, I was sitting on top of this, we call it the roof. I'm leaning over, and there's a tree, and I realized there's this 3.5-foot lizard about 2 feet from me, just sunning himself on a tree. And it's like, holy shit.
Gecko on steroids.
Yeah, big time. And I'm like, oh, maybe I better move slowly and get a picture of this guy, right? So you'll see lots of those bigger lizards, but some like this big and some are about, a foot long. So like lots of those. I have not seen any snakes. I'm not surprised because it's such a warm climate. So that may be territorial.
And Marcia, are they saying that they're poisonous or non-poisonous? Or are we talking like boa constrictors? Or do you know?
They said both. So a friend of mine, I don't know, is there a mesalton there? Something like mesalton?
Not familiar, but could be.
I don't know. Anyway, she moved. She bought a property. She had a house built. Then she decided to buy the property next door. The property next door, and she didn't know this until she laid down the money for it. The property next door was full of rocks. And under the rocks, there were a bunch of poisonous snakes. So now she's got her house beside this community of poisonous snakes. So she built a pool, and she built the pool higher than it would normally be because she didn't want the snakes coming into the pool. So that was her situation. Can you imagine though?
Well, no, she needs to flip that around and says, I now have a large crop of poisonous snakes.
Yeah, come
what's
get
the
'em.
going rate
Yeah.
for poisonous snakes?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
But it's comical even with the cockroach were freaking Angela out a bit. And the one, you're sound asleep one night where we were just a few weeks ago, and I hear this pounding on the floor. She's got a slipper just pounding, smack, 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 smack. And then I see this face and, are you awake? Can you get rid of that cockroach for me? I think it's dead.
Oh gosh.
But-
Clothes. Okay. What about buying clothes? I know you're saying minimalistic and all of that stuff, so you're probably not into that, but I guess they've just got normal shops, or is that part of like boutiques, or how do you buy clothes there?
Again, I'm 6'2", 210 pounds. I need to find American stuff for a shoe size and size 12. Some clothes are extra large isn't quite my extra large. Now, I think I could probably get them now. I've lost weight. So, and Angela, for the women's, because women have so many different body shapes, like she finally found a place, I think on Heek, where she could buy some good underwear, like bras and underwear, because and again, that's a bit of a search and find rescue mission for any woman, because of depending what you're used to, what your body shape is. So you just have to ask around. Finding hairstyles, lots of barbers. Women are a little more difficult finding, who's a good hairstylist depending on your hairstyle. I can go get my haircut and beard trim anywhere for 150 pesos. So
what about
clothing,
go ahead.
No, it's just the same thing. There's lots of women's clothing, but she finds, she bought a tracksuit. She went to the men's side, it was cheaper. Same thing. It's women pay more for clothing it's marketing, but I mean, if you, again, we're not into styles, we keep it really simple with our clothing choices here. Like I wear lots of sleeveless shirts when it's hot, and just t-shirts and shorts, and I've got a couple pairs of hard soled sandals, because some of the areas like Heek are cobblestones, and that's really hard on your feet.
For like, do y'all have like anything equivalent to like Amazon delivery? Can you order online and have stuff brought in, or what?
Yep. Amazon's here. We haven't used it, but there are delivery services. There are central services for that as well, especially for expats. There's I haven't found one here, but there is your regular, any of the other delivery service, there'll be a central delivery service here. So you can get products shipped here, and then you as a, gringo can register there and go pick up your stuff.
So I'm curious about like tax wise. So do you still have to file and pay any taxes in Canada?
I am right now because obviously I have a pension from Canada, and that's a big thing. Where this expat newsletter I'll send out to you guys, he talks about what countries for taxes and what tax advantages are like. So and where to, like some countries, Uruguay now, you only pay taxes on income you earn in the country.
Right.
Where the U.S. wants to tax you if you've got a U.S. citizenship, you get taxed for everything everywhere.
Right.
Canada, I'm not have to verify that a little more, but I'm paying my regular income tax in Canada. But again, it's looking at, I want to do investigations. I start generating more income here. What does that mean here as a resident? But again, there are tax advantages to that, and a lot of countries are making that attractive for, as you call the digital nomad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big deal, especially those of us looking at other investments, crypto investments, things like that. That's a very big concern and awareness to have those resources in that expat newsletter. They have experts for that as well.
And that was my question, are they open to, the cryptocurrency world there, or is everything, since it's market, everything is cash, your cash, with the Mexican peso and all that? What are you seeing there?
Well, I don't know their tax laws here, but I'm sure they are, because this is an entrepreneurial society like most of South America, right? People are making money, and thankfully for all the stuff, cash is king here. Like we pay our rent in cash, so it's and cash is everything. Everybody walks around with cash. So I think that's a big deal, keeping the hawkers at bay, the Klaus Schwabs at bay, right, from their mindsets and so as long as we stay with that hand to hand and negotiation type of money and or bartering, I think for all of us having that available. I don't know that they said the crypto law, the tax laws yet. Obviously we're going to learn them, as we go through this, but and what changes are going to be made. There's a lot of big stuff coming to Mexico. They're putting up a big central train system, which is going to go around near the Yucatan. And they're building a train system to compete with the Panama Canal across the bottom end of Mexico as well, for transporting goods and services back and forth. These are
wow,
multi-billion-dollar investments. Now, I don't know if that's a prelude to a bit of the 15-minute city stuff. I'm not, how when they're hyping up these so-called tech investments, that you have to look at what's behind all that. But the money's coming in here for sure.
Well, one of the things, in my mind, when I'm thinking any city or area where they have these big, huge markets where cash is king, that's a positive thing, because unfortunately here in the United States, we've gotten away from that, and everything is done with a debit card or a credit card, or, all that stuff, which makes us really a moving target for, the governments and all that stuff to control us more. And again, with the taxes and all of that stuff. So anytime that I see something like that, for me, I'm just thinking, wow, that's a great thing, because the more you can keep those dollars flowing, physical dollars, in a community, the better off economically they're typically, they're going to be.
Well, and Richard, that's one of the things I was curious about. You mentioned about bartering, that's still, is that a lot of bartering going on?
Well, I look at my own business for bartering a lot of times too, but I'm sure it happens here. But again, it's because when I was getting my haircut and how guys get their stuff delivered, they walk over and there's money changing hands, for who knows what happens. Now, obviously, where we were, there were some areas for stuff changing hands that I recall that were, I would say, medicinal stuff, but not anything I want to be part of. but they're feisty here too, right? These people are very proud, and they're used to fighting for their rights, and so there's some stuff going on that they don't mind speaking up. And like again, that massive freedom rally is actually here in Morelia in January. All the speakers like Catherine Austin Fitz is coming in, and all these speakers, and it's like a 10-minute walk from our house. So pushing back against all this big control they want to create. Again, like you said, Nancy, they have street markets here that go on for blocks, like 6 or 8 blocks in one direction, 6 or 8 in another. So it's just a crush of people. So it's and it's used clothing, everything you could possibly think of. So the vendors are, these vendors are everywhere.
Okay, so do they set up each day? Does it stay up? How does that work?
Those weekend markets get set up like on a Friday night. So these people
Okay.
come in and they'll hang tents across the tarps across the street. Like it's a lot of work. These people work hard. And then where the one main road we go to this, they'll set up on Sunday, and it's like I mean it's you're pushing like just to go like for blocks.
But they leave their booth up all weekend.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
sits there, right? And
That's what I was going to say. How's the
heavy-
security?
heavy. I mean, people are watching, and there's a heavy police presence, because of this too. Like, and it doesn't bother me, but when they're standing at a cash machine, these guys have their finger on they're carrying machine guns, they're carrying shotguns, like they're taking, that doesn't bother me. I have more faith in these guys than I do in our North American police. Sometimes the way they're not, I don't see the heavy-handedness or the swarming techniques that are used in North America. It's stuff is dealt with. And that was my big thing. And I saw some incidents when I was in Peru back years ago, and I saw the negotiation went on. It wasn't like a SWAT team moved in, and I saw things being handled because it was all communication. And they mean business here, but I mean, it doesn't bother me. Like they'll be going by on the military trucks, like with a machine gun on a military truck. That doesn't bother me a bit.
Marsha, did you have something else?
Richard, I've heard that it's the drug cartel there that keeps the government in line. Is that accurate?
I think it's been focused here. I don't know, because you know what? When you look around the world, Marsha, the politicians are in somebody's pocketbook anyway. I mean, and cartels are everywhere. They always claim it here. There's cartels throughout North America. They're like in Canada, everywhere else. So it's just a name. It gets focused here, but I believe it's a fixation. There are cartels because yes, they run areas of business, where we were in Cozumel, the guy was looking somewhere else, and the cartels, because they like their little cut, it's part of business, but they also recognize that patrons like us come down and spend money. So we're actually well protected.
So let me put it another way. If Trudeau was down there as prime minister, the cartel would have taken him out a long time ago. So my point
I would hope so. I would hope so. Yeah.
Let me rephrase my question or statement. I would say that the drug cartel there, the government knows that if they try any funny stuff or they try to pass a law, they're going to be taken out. Whereas in Canada here, Trudeau and his cronies can pass anything and nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, I think you're right. I believe that there is like the local business has priority because not having government so much top down. There's corruption. I mean, everywhere, and they talk about human trafficking. That's everywhere. So it's not just in some third world country. That and all that drugs and money is in every country, every state, everywhere. There is no priority for that. So but you're right. I would say the locals, but people wouldn't stand for that kind of BS that Trudeau's pulling and the arrogance that they carry on.
Anybody else have any questions for Richard?
I have to start over because Gary's here.
You sure do.
It's being recorded.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Welcome, Gary.
Thank
We're
you.
so fortunate to have Richard to come on from Mexico today and share his expat experiences. And he really gave us some wonderful insights on what they've been going through and some of the things, that we should know or whatever. So anyways, this is being recorded. And I know you'll want to go back and listen to it because it's been very insightful. Thank you so very much, Richard, and give Angela our best. And I'm so, happy that you were able to check in with us today.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so last week we talked about we're getting towards the end of the year, and it is key performance indicators, end of year review, and all of those different type things. Oh, and I forgot, I had a birthday yesterday, y'all. Milestone birthday, big 60. Got all my kids coming in this next week, so we're going to be celebrating then. And I'm gonna have
Happy
everybody
birthday.
underneath my
Happy
roof.
birthday.
Yes, yes.
Happy birthday.
It
Look
was a
out for
little-
glitter.
It was a little sad yesterday, but everybody called. Yeah, go ahead.
It didn't pop up in my Facebook. Everyone-
It didn't.
No, it didn't.
Well, you better go in there and correct that.
Yeah,
You
no
better
kidding.
That's all
put
right.
my birthday down because it's important.
Automatically, Facebook will send you
Yeah.
a reminder.
Yeah.
Put it in your calendar and don't complain about Facebook.
That's right. Thank you, Barry. The only email birthday card that I got, and then I got one birthday card in the mail a day early, and I got text and some videos, and those are always fun. And I'm going to make a video a little bit later on because, you know, you don't realize as you're going through your life, when I was looking through this morning, the names of the people, and I just want to share this because it's from my heart, number one, but it's just amazing because you can do the same thing. I was like, oh my goodness, I've got people from my childhood. I've got people from all the different high schools in my community. I've got people that was from different colleges that I attended or worked in the military, you know, different places all over. Then you've got family. Then you've got people, you know, like through my Lunch and Learn and all of those. And then what really struck me weird, kind of a weird thing, was a lot of Facebook people that I really don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't know them personally. And I was really shocked because one thing that I always prided myself in everywhere we went, when well, it's been our whole marriage. We've been married over 40 years now. My husband would always think that I was lying because everywhere we went, I would run into somebody that I knew.
Yeah.
And he's like, there is no way that you know this many people, little small town Paragould, Arkansas girl. You know, no way you know these people. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So,
And my dad was the same way. Yeah. This is I took my folks to South Lake Tahoe for the first time many years ago. And we were there for a week. And the last night that we're there, my dad makes a comment. It's like, gee, we've been here almost a whole week now, and I haven't run into anybody that I know. And it's not, he's never been down to that area before, right? So we're walking, we go to one of the casinos in the parking garage. We're walking up to the door to go into the casino, and this other couple's coming out, and it's like, hey, Don, how you doing? It's like, somebody he knew. So
Yeah.
no doubt with all your connections, you're running into people everywhere.
yeah, it just blew my mind, but I was a little sad that there was so many that I have no clue how we connected or anything. And, you know, I was really good about tracking, like for our group, you know, our environment. I was really good about that. So I'll recognize a name or a face or something like that, and I can tie that together. But there was just a ton. And it might be time for me to clean out my Facebook. You know, I do that every little bit, and I haven't done that in a while to kind of clean out with people who don't engage and all
I
of
actually use the Facebook notification on birthdays to review to see, have we connected at all at any time? And it's like, nope. Okay. Bye-bye. You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, it's valuable. It's valuable real estate, you know, to me, you know, and I'm all about relationships. And I was just kind of took aback and kind of sad about, golly, how come I don't know these people? Thank you for the birthday wish. You know,
what is similar is like, you know, I have groups of people that I know from different, you know, little compartments of my life. And all of a sudden I'll see someone from this compartment. It's like they're friends with this person. It's like they're starting to cross over.
yes,
You know?
yes. Which leads me to my first topic for today.
You're
See
welcome.
how I did that? All right. I was looking, I've been doing a little testing, and I want y'all to do the same thing. I want you to Google your name, and I want you to see what pops up, and I want you to see where the data is coming from. Okay? Because what you're going to find out is And you want to make sure, this is something else that I've learned, that you're using some of your own personal pictures when you're doing your post and different things. It doesn't need to be always just a meme or a clip art or whatever, because Google is picking that up.
You
And what I-
only if you name the photo with your name.
Okay, that's my next little thing. What I've noticed is not necessarily Facebook stuff, which is where I've been spending a whole lot of time, even though I was using the hashtags, but LinkedIn and YouTube, my stuff was everywhere when I Googled my name. I mean, it was just flooded with stuff. So I encourage you, if this is something, if you're trying to get your brand and your image and, you know, your business and all of that stuff, what you want to be known for, you need to be making sure that you're using those hashtags, making sure you're putting your name on those things, and check it and see where it's coming from. Another thing that I noticed was when I was using All Events, that website, it's kind of like is it Events? Or which one is it that everybody uses on Facebook to get their
Eventbrite.
events? Yeah, Eventbrite. When I used to use that before I got kicked off for whatever reason, I don't know what that's all about. It's kind of like Facebook jail, I guess. But that was picking up a lot of my stuff as well on the Google search engines. So some of those are better than others. Our Meet My Referral Partners, that's on there. That was picking up in the first, and you know, you want the first couple of pages. You don't want to have to dig for yourself. You don't want anybody, when they put your name in, to have to go through 4 pages, because you know they're not going to do that. So now, granted, there is an African-American woman that has my same name, and she's on a few things, and she's also an author. So I did see her picture and some other little things, you know, mixed in there. But for the most part, when I typed in my name and I'm looking at that, I'm seeing where that traffic is coming from. Go ahead.
It's fascinating. This is a great timing, because I've been going through this in this workshop series on AI and your digital presence. So last Wednesday night, that's one of the things they were talking about, is most people just, when they upload an image, you know, a photo of them, it's just the basic camera thing, IMG 6724, you know, whatever. It has no name in there. And the naming convention that they've been finding for Google to actually index is your first name dash last name. And if you want to have like additional information like location or event or something like that, you do a space and then within parentheses, you know, whatever the event is, or Hawaii or whatever type of thing that you might want to also be known for. Like in my case, I would probably want to put Bruce dash Barnes space and then parentheses, the logical intuitive, to be having that indexed. But they said that for indexing of photos, you also, any of the sites that allow you to put alt text, the alternate text, that is also used in indexing. So like on LinkedIn, it allows you to put alt text in there, use it, put it in there. And it said that LinkedIn takes roughly 72 hours to index a photo. He said one of the sites that people are totally overlooking, because it's all about your digital presence, your digital punch card. And one of the sites that people are totally overlooking is Pinterest. Pinterest is a library of photos. If you want to be recognized as a key person of influence and get indexed quickly, start uploading images of you in Pinterest. And also Instagram, he said, is about 72 hours to get indexed, but Pinterest is 24 to 48 hours that it will index the photos that are uploaded there. Facebook, from their opinion, is a waste of time. It rarely, if ever, indexes anything on Facebook. And same thing with Twitter. Now that they've changed to X, they're fine. They didn't have the stats as far as how long it takes to index, but that's getting better.
I got to interrupt you, Bruce, because I can't understand you. What the heck do you mean by index?
Everything you upload to the internet is indexed in a database. In other words, it's searchable. It puts it in a database where it can be searched for. That's indexing. So if you don't have, they said one of the biggest things with fraud and crime, that one of the things they do is they do a search on that individual. And if there's a massive response of different photos and articles and everything on that person, the criminals don't target them. If they want to try and blackmail and take over something, and you've got a very small footprint, that's the person that they target, because one or two bad online comments can devastate someone that has a very small digital footprint. If you've got a large footprint out there, one small comment's going to get lost in the mix. It's not going to affect you. But they said that the indexing with your name is critical.
Okay, so when you're saying, let's go back to the beginning on that. So when you're saying indexing, before you upload it, you would want to save that as a name, is what he's meaning, Barry?
Yeah, rename your photos.
Your photos.
Files. Yeah.
So like if you upload something from a camera, it's going to have a bunch of weird numbers and letters and all of that stuff. And so when you save it to your computer before you use it, let's just say, you might want to save it as Barry. He was saying have a space between there. Barry.
Yeah, I always do.
No, it'd be a
I
dash.
understand.
It's
I
first.
always do that because that's what you do. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so it's first name dash last name. Or if I was going to be Bruce J. Barnes, it would be Bruce J. Barnes. If I wanted that to be what searchable and that. So, but they said within parentheses afterwards, additional content or description or whatever. But also like LinkedIn, like I mentioned, when you upload an image on LinkedIn, it pops up wanting you to enter alt text, which is normally for people that have visual impairments. They've got a special app that reads what's on the screen, and any images that have alt text, those special apps will read the alt text. Well, that alt text is also indexed. So yeah, they said that it's just fascinating that if you upload one image every day to these various social media sites for 90 to 120 days, your digital footprint will be huge. And it can be the same photo over, you don't have to, if you've only got like a couple dozen photos, you can rotate through them, but it's just that constant uploading of images with your name.
Well, and you could use Canva to put your photo in there and have a different little background around it. You know what I'm saying? In different
and the other thing to really, for getting your recognized as a key person of influence, is you upload a photo of you doing something or at an event, but you don't put any description in it. You let other people create their own story around your photo. I mean, it's just
that's
jump in
interesting.
here? I have a question to Bruce. So Bruce, you mentioned something about a course you're taking. Is this a course?
it's a workshop that I've been going through. Yeah.
And is there a link that will they be offering this series?
No, it's just this is something that's already locked down and stuff. It's like, but as far as It's about artificial intelligence and being omnipresent online. This is just increasing your digital footprint and your searchability.
I get that, but is this workshop or this workshop series going to be repeated?
No,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Well, you can look, there's one that I'm looking at right now, Marcia, that they've been doing a lot of Facebook advertising, and these things are almost like real. And the different things that I've been seeing, there's some really great potential for doing, content. And I mean, it looks amazing. And so I think it's like $97 or something. So I'm looking into that. After I get the holiday season over, I may do it just to get the education and bring it back to the group. Just because if y'all been noticing, my post on the storylines and all of that stuff, that AI has been really amazing. I've been having to play with it and tweak it to kind of get, what I want out of it. But it's just incredible to me.
Yeah.
What the potential.
Yeah, and they said that one of the things it's all about your personal brand. And it says, well, if you do a search on you and nothing comes up, that is your personal brand. So it says whatever comes up, it's like, is it what you want to be known for? Well, then if not, then you need to start changing what's online.
So let me just
Okay.
jump in here. So I started teaching high school back in 1977, and I Googled my name, and there was something that was posted under my name on Google back then when I was teaching in 1977.
Yeah.
So it goes way back. That's like 46 years.
Yeah. And
Well,
it says that, and I guess you can get, I forget what they call it, wiki pages.
yeah.
If you set up, and it says you can create your own wiki page, create, whatever information you want to publish about yourself and that, but that's also searched. So.
Right.
But I'm interested in having a course or going to a course like this to sort of give this kind of content. So Nancy and Bruce and others, if anything comes across your feed, or let me know.
Will do. Okay, so the first thing, like I said, we're trying to do this social media presence, and you need to first step is and I'm trying to get you ready for the new year. I want you to get yourself set up, create your goals for the new year, be very intentional. We talked about the key performance indicators. Set yourself up some goals. Don't just fly by the seat of your pants. Set some goals. How much do you want in sales? What's it going to take to get there? Tie in, if you're in a team environment for like direct sales or something, you need to, tie your people's personal. And this is this book. Let me see. I think I shared with you just a second. A few weeks ago, normally I could get this done in like a weekend, and I didn't. This 9-figure mindset, how to go from 0 to over 100 million in net worth by Brandon Dawson. He partnered with Grant Cardone, and he had built amazing and sold them off for millions of dollars, and ended up partnering with Grant to make a whole new entity under Cardone Ventures. He's an entrepreneur scaling helping these businesses scale to this massive amount. So anyways, if you can get your people, your team or whatever, they need to tie into their personal goals, their professional goals, and their financial goals. Help them create a game plan strategy so that they can achieve their goals. Not everybody is the same. Like each one of us might have something different that we're shooting for, and that's okay. But tie that into let's just say, I'm going to use me as an example, to the pig group. Okay. How can I help each one of y'all achieve your goals so that it ties into mine? And if I know your goals, I can set my goals so that none of us is disappointed. We set the vision, cast the vision, and then we help each other, and everybody walks away a winner. And so I want you to set some big, bodacious professional goals for yourself as far as your sales or whatever it is. And we talked about what that looks like last week. And I did put that on the YouTube channel so you can get that. And so this week, I want to talk about your online presence. Start with Googling yourself to see if you are known for what you want to be known for. And then the next step in that is the value proposition. Now, I know over the last 3 years, we have talked about this, but as a group and individually, we have evolved. What we were doing 3 years ago is probably nothing like what we're doing today, or we've tweaked something just a little bit. And so we need to make sure that the most current information that Google or whoever has on us is correct for right now. So on this value proposition, if you got some a pen and paper, you can take a couple of notes here. Obviously, you want to ID your ideal customer, who you're selling to, and this all goes into that target market. What are their pain points and what is the problem that you solve? And you've got to be specific. Now, you can have 3 or 4 of these. They can be different, but you need to be honed in and make sure, you know, just like Bruce was saying, if you did a photo for every 90 days, if you hammered this particular value proposition every day for 30 days, I'm telling you, you're going to see a huge difference in your online presence. So who you selling to, what are their pain points, and what specifically is the problem that you solve? Again, choose a couple of different ones, and then you can use your social media strategies to target each one of those in a different way.
Yeah, just to interject there on you identify their pain points, and your solution, you need to put it in a phrase of the benefit to them for
Yes.
whatever product or service that you're offering, because you want to have the pain points and the benefits to them.
Yes, and that's coming up on the second piece to that. So the first one is really you thinking about, okay, who am I selling to? What are their pain points? If you don't know, Houston, that's a problem. Just ask them. Ask them, what are some of the things that you struggle with? Look at your best customer. What are some of the things that you struggled with? And we want to be, sometimes all things to all people. And I'll give you an example. I'm struggling right now with the pig group on whether I want to focus on helping people achieve financial freedom, or do I want to focus on helping people build multiple streams of income with very little time, effort, money, etc. That's could be the same person, but it also could be something very different and would tap into total different markets. You know what I'm saying? So there's a few things like that you really need to sit down and think about. So number 2 would be to define the problem that you solve. Be as specific as possible. This is not a half a page response. This is like a sentence.
Right.
Okay. The problem that you solve. Number 3 is to highlight your unique benefits. What makes your product or service different from your competitor, and your USP, which is your unique selling point. How are you different? Now, this comes down to a lot of people are in direct sales, so you could be promoting the same products and services. So it's not going to necessarily come down to that. It's going to come down to you. They are buying you. And that's why it's so important that you create a brand around yourself rather than a company. Because if you ever have to change companies, or if that company goes, for whatever reason, if they go out, or you don't like what they're doing anymore, they change a comp plan, there can be a million different things. If you have not built a brand around yourself, you're going to have to start all over from ground zero. But if you don't, and the brand is around you instead, you've already got a group of followers that they know, like, and love you and trust you, and they'll just come along for the ride. The next one is to quantify your value. And this is a part where I was looking at that I know a lot of people really struggle with. How can you save your customer time, money, effort? You need to have some way to quantify this for your clients. What is it exactly that you're doing? How much money can you save them? How much time? This is going to save you effort, energy, headache. What, people love that save, earn wording. And so if you can't give them any of that, it's really hard for them to wrap their brain around, why should I come and do business with you if it's not something significant that you can quantify and put down where somebody could understand. And you need to make it memorable. That was the fifth little component on there, to make it memorable. And that's kind of where our elevator pitches come in. If we can have a really nice, catchy elevator pitch and a tagline that everybody needs to be known for, that needs to be put in with your photos, tag, and that way you're ensured that your message is going along with who you are across the internet. You totally control this instead of having to wait for other people to do that. And so some of the things that they talked about was using strong verbs, keep it concise, 2 sentences max, and this is your value proposition. And here is a couple of verbs that they that I want to share with you that you could kind of put in your hat: solve, help, enable, provide, empower, improve, increase, save, protect, guarantee, get rid of, stream, peace of mind, get peace of mind. So that's what they're talking about when they're saying use those strong verbs as part of your value proposition, so that anybody would know what it is that you're about. And this is not something that you can just sit down in 5 minutes and wrap your head around. Because and I've got a marketing degree, y'all. I've got a master's in marketing, and I am constantly learning and training and all of that stuff. And it's hard. It's really hard, especially when you are like we are, and we are evolving as time goes on into something totally different usually, and going through these exercises. If you will do that, you'll learn some things about yourself and your business that you might not have thought about. And it might give you some new ideas and new insights. Yeah. So this is, go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, I was just saying, for goal setting in general, whatever your goal is, if it's a certain dollar amount or number of sales, or if the company you're with has got a promotion for, a trip and whatever the qualifications are, whatever that end goal is, need to reverse engineer, break it down in those steps. Okay, well, I need to get X number of people or X number of sales in this period of time. Okay, how many sales or people do I need to get every month or every week? And then keep breaking it down, going backwards, so that you can identify your daily operating plan, what you need to do every day to ultimately hit that goal.
And that was those key performance indicators that we talked about last time, because eventually, if you are serious about your business, and I don't care what business it is, we know we have to generate leads. And then we know eventually, after we do so many of them, we're going to know how many it takes to convert into a sale. And as you do more and more of that, you're going to hopefully get better and better, so that number becomes a larger percentage, that you're able to close more sales than what you were before. Something else to keep in mind is, eventually, if you can hone this into a really tight niche market, you're going to close because you've got a better quality lead, because people will be able to help find you a lead instead of just saying all women over the age of 50. You know what I'm saying? You would say women over the age of 50 who have grandchildren who live here, who like to go to the gym 3 times a week, and they shop at Walmart, you know.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is with those keywords, you can go into, I can't remember the exact place on Google, but it's a keyword search tool that you can go into Google's search tool and see what, you can put in whatever keywords you want to be searching on, but you can see, it'll tell you all the different combinations of those words and slight variations, what's the most searched for. And what you want to look for is phrases and keywords that have a high search number, but a low competition. Like it'll tell you, like you take that same search and do it on Amazon, like for different books, and you can see where, okay, this one is a high search, and there's only like 3 books in that have that keyword. So you can tweak your keywords that you use in your marketing, that when you publish that and people do a Google search, again, that's indexing those words, you will be more likely to be found.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Now, I'm going to cut this off because I promised Marsha that we would do a hot seat today before we leave. Marsha, I hadn't forgot you.
Nancy, it's okay.
You don't think we can do it in 12 minutes?
Marcia, can I have 10 seconds, please?
Yeah, I'm not
Are
gonna.
we gonna be here next week? I have to leave for
No.
my 2 o'clock meeting.
No, we're off for Thanksgiving next week.
Thank you. Want to just make it clear.
Okay. Yep. We are off for Thanksgiving. Okay.
Have a happy holiday, everybody.
You
You
too.
too, thanks.
You too. Are you sure, Marsha?
Yeah, because I would need more time, but that's okay. We can maybe
Okay.
next 2 weeks from now.
Okay. I apologize. I thought that would give us enough time.
Well, you only got 7 minutes.
Okay. So we've talked about key performance indicators. We've talked about going in there, Googling yourself. That's your homework. You got 2 weeks to do it. See anything interesting that you found out about yourself when you Googled yourself, and then start working on your value propositions and set up your goals for the upcoming year. And then the end of year review is, and don't not do this, y'all, whether it's for your personal, every year around my birthday month, I start going through this and I look and see where my shortcomings were. And we've got several different areas of our life. We've got our personal relationships, we've got our money, we've got our spiritual life, we've got our business. You've got experiences and things like that you want to do, those bucket list activities and different things like that. So just kind of give yourself a scorecard and see how well you did. As far as business wise, you need to just not look at, how much you did in sales. There's a lot more to it than that, but you need to set some benchmarks up. And then a few years ago, that book came out that it was the 12-week year. Do y'all remember when we went through that a little bit? It is amazing what you can get accomplished in 90 days. If you really set your sights on something and you are consistent and you have a plan, it doesn't take very long. You can get so much done. And I've done it. And especially for those of you who might be in direct sales, that's why they do these 30-day challenges and these 90-day challenges, is because it starts and it gets momentum going. And that can carry you on through the rest of the year if you get started off on a good foot. I mean, truly it can. So start thinking about what are some of the things that you could do to get your momentum going. Now I'm talking like it's, the year is already over. It's not. We have about 6 weeks left to end the year. We've got Christmas, we've got Thanksgiving, and I don't know if there's anything else in between there. So we're going to lose a couple of weeks. So what can you do So set yourself up, number one, which is the most important thing for the new year, but how can you end the year strong? And we've talked about this for the last couple of weeks too. Does anybody have anything that they would like to share personally, maybe that they're doing to kind of set themselves up to end the year strong? What are you doing? I'm doing a lot of training right now. There's one thing that I'm doing.
Well, there are 44 days remaining.
44. Go ahead, Richard.
Well, I'm in several collaboration projects, so just there's a lot of groundwork going into that, you know, and just building up momentum. I'm also creating actually a new type of personal work, the way I work with people. So it's incorporating a lot of new things I'm doing. So that's all. I'm testing that out with some people as well. So I'm just building still a lot of foundation, right? And I'm with my connection, Grand Connection networking group out of Vancouver, that's been a good base for me as well to get established and into their presence with my, you know, how they promote us as well. So just lots of little things, but again, this has been good too, to again, get your footprint out there and people look for you, what's showing up. You know, I don't want my lookalike that has criminal activity showing up for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's some sites out there that are putting false things out there about people. And then they're like, what do you call it? Blackmailing you. If you want it removed, you're having to pay a fee. I'm not joking. That's a thing.
And that's the thing, says if you got a big digital punch card with a lot of results showing up for you, they don't target those people. They target the ones that have a small footprint.
Fantastic. Claudio, do you have anything that you want to report on any of our pig stuff? I've kind of, we didn't have time to go through anything. We got any deadlines coming up we need to know about?
This is going to be a huge weekend. They've got the big event in Cape Town, South Africa. There's supposed to be some major announcements, including our new debit card, which is supposed to really change the way we do things. They've also mentioned that I know anybody that's not in it might not understand it, but we have our own private coin in our metaverse, the G999 coin, which is supposed to be converted to bonds, and that's going to drive the price way up. So they're encouraging everybody buy up as much G99 coin as you can. One of my uplines yesterday told me, "Oh, you got to have at least 1 million." Oh, okay, sure, that's easy, no problem. I mean, they're only 4 cents each, so you know it's not like it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, but still, you know, I've been building up slowly. I'm at 150,000 right now, so I'm gonna continue to do as much as I can until the big day. The sad thing is we don't know when that's going to happen. They just say it could happen soon.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, all right. I think that's all I have. When we come back, we'll go over, you know, some of our pig results after the holidays and all of that. And I know I'm going to be traveling to Arkansas. I've got a wedding to go to the week after Thanksgiving, I think, but I think we're going to be good there. Shouldn't have any issue. But anyway, thank you, Richard, so very much for coming and joining us today and sharing all of that great information. I'll have that uploaded to our YouTube channel and post that. And otherwise, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving and enjoy your break.
Yeah.
Do your homework.
In 2 weeks on December 1st will be our next meeting.
Yeah, that's the first Friday. Are we still doing the first Friday?
Yeah. We're back to every week now.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a great
right.
Thanksgiving. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your birthday celebrations.
Right.
Have a great
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, everyone.